everyone, and welcome back to Nurses Lecture Room YouTube channel. My name is Mary, popularly known as the Nurse with the Difference, and I make learning easy and accessible for students. Today we are going to be talking about the anatomy and physiology of the heart. What do you know about the heart? What have you heard about this wonderful organ in the body known as the heart? What are the functions? What are the various components, the chambers of the heart? By the end of this class, you will be able to know a lot about the heart, and you will be able to write a lot about the heart. But before we go into details in today's class, kindly click on the subscribe button, turn on the notification button so you don't miss out. Let's go there. Welcome back. Like I earlier said, today we are going to be talking about the anatomy and physiology of the heart. What is the heart? The heart is a hollow muscular organ located at the thoracic cavity. The heart is what? A hollow muscular organ located at the thoracic cavity. You know, this area is our thoracic region, while this down part is our abdominal region. So the heart is where it is located at the thoracic cavity and not the abdominal region. The heart has an apex. This is the apex of the heart, and a base. The heart has what? It has an apex and a base. Then that takes us to the organ in relation to. When we say organ in relation to, we simply mean organs, structures that are surrounding the heart that makes it easy to locate it in the body. So let's start from inferiorly. Inferiorly of the heart, we have the diaphragm. The diaphragm is something like this that separates the thoracic region and the abdominal region. So inferiorly, we have the diaphragm. The apex touches the diaphragm of the body. Then superiorly, that's the upper part, we have the great blood vessels like your aorta, your pulmonary arteries, the pulmonary veins, and the superior vena cava. That's what we find superiorly. Do we get now? That's superiorly. Inferiorly, we have the diaphragm, that's organ in relation to. Superiorly, we have the great blood vessels, such as your pulmonary arteries, your pulmonary veins, your aorta. They are all found what? Superiorly. Then laterally, that is by the sides of the heart, the two sides of the heart, we have the lungs, the right and the left lung. But the heart is closer to the left lung. It's closer to this side. That's why the heart is located here. It's closer to the left lung than the right lung. So laterally, we have what? We have the lungs. Then posteriorly, that means at the back, posterior, the back part of the heart, you have the trachea, you have the bronchus, you have the esophagus. They are at the posterior part of the heart. Then when we now talk about anteriorly, we have the sternum, we have the ribs, and we have the intercostal muscles. So these are the organs in relation associated to what? The heart. So when a surgeon or a surgeon generally knows what is surrounding the heart, that surgeon finds it easy to locate the heart. I don't know if you get that. So that is why organs in relation to, it's also very, very important when it comes to medical surgical nursing and anatomy and physiology. The heart has two vena cava. It has what? It has two vena cava. This is the superior vena cava, and this is the inferior vena cava. The heart has two vena cava. Vena cava is spelled V-E-N-A, then cava. So the heart has two. It has the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Then in terms of the layers, that means, you know, most things, they have layers, like layers on top of each other. So in terms of the layers of the heart has 3 layers. The heart has what? 3 layers. Let's go over it in this format. Okay, let me use it. Let's assume the heart has what? We said the heart has 3 layers. Let's assume this is 1, this is 2, and this is the 3rd layer. The heart has what? 3 layers. The outermost layer, the one outside is known as the pericardium. The outermost layer, that's the one outside, is known as what? The pericardium. I think it's better for me to do it this way. I'm coming. Okay. This is the heart. Let me use this simpler version. Yeah. I think this will be better. Yeah. Can we see the three layers now? So this outer layer now, the outer layer of the heart is known as what? Pericardium. It's an outer layer. It is the outside. The outer layer of the heart is known as what? Pericardium. This pericardium is divided into two. We have the serous pericardium and the fibrous pericardium. We have what? The serous pericardium and the fibrous pericardium. The serous pericardium is divided into two. It is the inner one now. The serous pericardium is divided into two. We have the parental pericardium and the visceral pericardium. Remember, we are still describing what? The pericardium. We said that the pericardium has two parts. We have the fibrous pericardium and the serous pericardium. The fibrous is the one that's outside, while the serous is the one inside. The serous has two layers again, which is the parental and the visceral pericardium. So between the parental and the visceral pericardium is a space. Is the only potential space in the heart. One thing I want you to know, just know that the pericardium, which is the outer layer, is made up of the is also known as the fibrous layer, is the outer layer. The pericardium is what? The outer layer. Then the other layer is known as the myocardium. Myocardium. The myocardium is that's the middle layer. Muscles. So myocardium is the muscle layer of the heart. This myocardium is it's the muscle layer, like we said. It is striated. It's not. This is the muscle. The myocardium is the what? Is the middle layer of the heart. That is where you have the muscles. That is what helps to contract the heart and enable blood to be pumped into circulations. The muscles is also very, very important. Then the last layer, which is the inner layer of the heart, it is known as the endocardium. It is what? The innermost layer of the heart. It is known as the endocardium. Remember, the heart has basically three layers. It has the pericardium, which is the outermost layer of the heart. It has the myocardium, which is the middle layer of the heart. And it has the endocardium, which is the innermost layer of the heart. Inside now, let's talk about the innermost layer of the heart. That is where we have the chambers of the heart. The four chambers of the heart. If you look at this place, we have one. This is the first chamber. This is the second chamber. This is the third chamber. And this is the fourth chamber. This chamber here is known as the right atrium. The right atrium. This is the left atrium. Then we have the right ventricle. Then this is what? The left ventricle. These are the four chambers of the heart. It has what? The right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle. Then that takes us to the valves. We have four valves in the heart. We have what? We have four valves in the heart. The first valve we have is the right atrioventricular valve. It's derived from atrium and ventricle. It is known as what? The right atrioventricular valve. This right atrioventricular valve is also known as the tricuspid valve. It's known as what? The tricuspid valve. It separates the atrium from the ventricle. Then the other we have is the left. Is the left atrioventricular valve. This is the left what? Atrioventricular valve. It separates the left atrium from the left ventricle. Then another valve we have, you know, when the blood enters here, it has to go through this place, is the pulmonary valve. The pulmonary valve. This one actually separates the right ventricle from the pulmonary arteries. Are we getting now? Then the other valve we have is the aortic valve. The what? The aortic valve. This valve separates the left ventricle from the aorta. Remember, the heart has four chambers and it also has four valves. The first chamber is the right atrium. We have the left atrium. We have the right ventricle and we have the left ventricle. In terms of the valves, we have the left atrioventricular valve. We have the right atrioventricular valve. We have the pulmonary valve and we have the aortic valve. And we takes us to the blood supply to the heart. What gives the blood the nutrients, the basic nutrients it needs, is known as the coronary artery. The coronary artery supplies the heart with the necessary oxygen and the necessary nutrients it needs, and it's all drained by the coronary veins. Then that takes us to the function of the heart. What do you think is the function of the heart? The basic function of the heart is to pump blood into circulation. Without the heart, we cannot easily pump blood into circulation. It's not possible. So the basic function of the heart is what? To pump blood into circulation. So our next video is going to be explaining the blood flow through the heart, because there are basically two types of circulation. We have the pulmonary circulation and the systemic circulation. The pulmonary circulation is from the pulmonary arteries. The blood goes through the pulmonary, the lungs. When we talk about pulmonary circulation, it's going to the lungs. And when we talk about systemic circulation, it's going to all parts of the body. Pulmonary circulation is going to the lungs, and systemic circulation is going to all parts of the body. So that will be explained properly in our next video. Hope you now understand the anatomy and physiology of the heart. If there's any question, kindly drop in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to watch with a friend if you got value. See you in our next video. Bye.